Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Kingdom Bible Study here at today's church, or today's church, Tampa Bay. But we are nationwide at this point, so thank you for tuning in to today's church. If we haven't met, my name is Deacon Patrick. You may have recognized me from our earlier collective consciousness prayer. And don't worry, your eyes are not deceiving you. My hair is shorter than what you just saw. We thank God for technology. Thank you so much. Today's church is a all-accepting, Bible-based, Christ-centered metaphysical church, and Kingdom is our brand of new thought. We have a giant call to love God, love ourselves, and love everyone in that order. And we believe that today's church is the place where all the pieces and all the people come together. And we thank you so much for tuning in. We are following along during Bible study. So if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please be sure to engage with us and keeping an eye on the chat tonight. So please, we'd love to know if you have questions, reflections, anything like that. We are tuning in. We are picking up with this continuing book of prophecy, the book of Daniel. And I'm excited to continue in conversation. Every time I get to co-host with Shepherd Mother, we have a great time because I feel like we're like a talk show duo. So we're excited to dive in. I have been away, so I'm back to join in the conversation. Shepherd Mother, how are you doing this evening?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. I've had a little guest for the past couple of days, and it has just been so refreshing, and it's been keeping me on my toes.
I am sure.
And so I'm doing really, really good. I'm grateful I'm actually grateful that she has been here. She leaves tomorrow, and I'm not really happy about it, but
But the
that's
great thing is that she can come back.
she can come back, and she will, and she will. How's everybody? It's good to see all of you. Um, oh yay, we've got people here. Let me tell you, this past weekend was really great. We had people here from the Baltimore campus,
Yes.
and they spent the weekend and came to the play. And let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever been more proud of anyone than I was of you, Patrick, this weekend. My goodness. And that talk afterwards, oh, that
Yes.
was just, oh my gosh, that was just like the icing on the cake. It was
Well, thank you.
really, really good. And we are just so proud of you. Uh, and I say that because I've known you since day one. And
Yes. You know
knowing,
the journey.
and knowing you since day one and knowing you now, oh my God, it just proves what kingdom is. I mean, it's just that
Amen.
thing, honey. It's that thing.
Kingdom
So,
changes lives.
oh yes, yes, yes. So we're all excited. We're still in Daniel, and we're taking it a little slower, even though I know that you thought maybe that because it was 12 chapters, we'd be through with it in a minute. But Daniel is just way too good to just do it like that. There's so many things that come into play with his prophecy that it's very hard to just say, okay, we're going to do this chapter this week and another chapter the next week. There has to be an opportunity to cover more than one verse or one thing in the chapter. So, with that being said, we are still, we did a verse of chapter 6 last week, but we still have a couple of verses, actually three of them, to still discuss tonight and what it brings out to us as life application with Daniel. And the thing about Daniel is his his will to just follow God. regardless of
Mhm.
what anyone is saying. Sometimes we as humans get to a point in our lives where we kind of go with the flow and we kind of get involved in things and say, well, just for a minute. But Daniel was not a just for a minute person. Daniel was really all about kingdom. Daniel was all about everything that has to do with kingdom. And we're going to begin tonight in Daniel chapter 6 with the verse chapter 6 and verse 4. And we're going to talk about the kingdom of righteousness through that, because this is what is happening. We're learning so much about kingdom through Daniel, and he is
Mhm.
actually giving us, he's showing us, as well as we talk about all of us being way showers, and Daniel is having his turn. Daniel is having his turn to be a way shower. So I'm going to ask Patrick to go ahead and begin with the first verse, and anything you may have to say before I start running my mouth.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was so excited to be back in Bible study. I forgot to pray. So before we started,
Oh, let me put this up. You
as
know,
Shepherd is sharing, we were just so excited to be back together again. That we forgot some
we
protocol. That's
forgot to
okay.
put the thing up. I mean, just
We got to
oh
share and
my
pray.
goodness, we didn't do half of what we were just like.
Oh, gracious. Oh, gracious God, we thank you once again for our time of virtual Bible study. This truly has been a year of miracles, signs, and wonders. And we thank you for this final month of 2023. We thank you for these final December Kingdom Bible studies. And we are grateful for the continued study that is yet to come in 2024. Let the conversation be engaging, let the discussion be powerful, and let the lessons continue to lead us to the kingdom life that we desire and deserve. It is in your name we pray. Amen. So, Daniel chapter 6, I was reading. It's been so long since I read the book of Daniel, and it brought me back to being a kid. And this is one of the books and the stories that I remember the most. Because we sang in my little people's choir, shout out to 31st Street Baptist Church, about Daniel and the lion's den. And so what I loved about this shepherd specifically, um, chapter 6, is that just like you said, Daniel has this really strong perspective about what he desires for his relationship with God and how he shows up with his faith, and he is unapologetic for it. And these satraps, I hadn't looked that word up. That was a new word for me. They're like governors, like appointed governors, essentially by the king. And verse 4 in Daniel chapter 6 says, then the presidents and the princes tried so hard to find something against Daniel concerning the kingdom. But there was no instance, and they found no fault in him because he was faithful. They tried everything. They were trying to find some excuse to put Daniel away or get him in trouble, because they could not, for the life of them, figure out why was he so favored, why was he so liked, how was he so gifted and called. And it made me think, in my own life and journey, like times where I have really been committed to how I really desire to be and how I desire to show up in the world, in my own growth and journey. And there have been some people and some situations where they were trying to scheme and connive and do some things to see me fail. We will say that, but there is no failure. Just opportunities for growth. And even in those moments, I mean, they were frustrated. It makes me think of the like many cartoons where like the villain does all types of things to get rid of the superhero, and still Superman's coming right back around. You could try as you might with this kryptonite, but I'm still here. And so in Daniel chapter 6, we are talking about this kingdom of righteousness, and I love these 3 points because it really
Mhm.
reminds me the position that I have the opportunity to stay in consistently. Yeah, I just wanted to say that about chapter 6.
Well, and when you said that, I immediately thought of the Road Runner and Wile E. Coyote.
That's what I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name.
Well, you can see I watched it because it was just like that. Wile E. Coyote did everything, and it always backfired on him. He could not get that road runner. And here, as we look at the kingdom of righteousness, the things that this is like our armor. This is like
Mm,
things that, like you're saying, like trying to use the kryptonite. This is our armor, right attitude and perception. We never look at things with the glass half empty. In fact, well, when we look at the glass, we see the glass overflowing,
hmm
regardless whether there's half a glass, a whole glass, it's overflowing for us. And having the right attitude and perception allows us to go through a lot of things. Even um, I was talking about this fact the other day. I'm going down the street, space between a car and another car. I put my blinker on. I get in the space, and the man blows the horn and shoots a bird at me.
mm,
And the only thing I could think about, I said, oh my gosh, I hope he has a better day. Because I mean, this was not going to cause anything to happen, nothing. But it was just the idea that I got in that space. And I'm
mm.
going, my goodness, because I saw an opportunity and I took that opportunity. Yet there was someone else who was looking at it as interference, I guess. But I couldn't see it at that. And I couldn't even respond to him. And I just really had a feeling of, I hope he feels better.
Yeah, it makes
Instead of,
me.
go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, I mean, it just makes me think. I am like really resonating with this perception on point number one, just
Mm-hmm.
because like, when I shift just how I'm perceiving things, then everything else, the thinking, the speech, my actions and reactions, that helps everything else. Like I just have to shift just a touch. And I had a friend who has some really strong road rage. And I really had to ask them. I said, well, what is like the root of that? Like why do you always? I mean, yes, because some people are not the best drivers. Like that is fine. And that is true sometimes. But also, I'm just like, why do you think they're out to get you because they may or may not be a good or bad driver? Like I'm pretty sure someone's
How did
intention is
they
not to
choose
hurt.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone can't be for sure. Everyone cannot be against you. There may be some satraps out there, and the princes and the presidents that may be trying, right? But not every single person is out to get you. Like that can't be the. So what is causing you to have that perception?
It doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Because, with the kingdom of righteousness, you just can't see things wrong. You can't see things wrong. You have an energy of right, and everything that you do is just right.
Mhm. Mhm.
It you just can't seem to, well, I cannot seem to get myself in a mood of seeing something wrong. It's just but I can remember when I did. I can remember when almost everything was wrong.
Mhm.
But the more that I got involved in kingdom and studying the principles and the practices and the promises, and it was like, it doesn't even make sense to use my energy this way. It
Mhm.
doesn't make sense for me to go through things like this, because we have the kingdom, and righteousness, peace, and joy is the thing that covers the kingdom.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, and even the song just gives you pep. It gives you. There's nothing about this that puts you in a mood of feeling badly. I can't find anything in there. I don't know. No matter how deep I go, I still have that right attitude and perception. I still have that right thinking and speech. I still have those right actions. And let me tell you something. These people were trying so hard. They were trying so hard to do this. And you know what? The thing you have to really think about this is while they were wasting all this energy and all these ideas, Daniel had no knowledge of them. Daniel wasn't even involved at all. He was over here. He wasn't even thinking about, oh, there's some people over here plotting against me. It wasn't even in his nowhere. It was nowhere in him because he had that right energy. That kingdom
Mm-hmm.
of righteousness gives you that right energy. So even if there are people plotting against us, we just can't be concerned with it because we have this going. Anybody decide to say anything about that?
Anyone? Anyone? Bueller?
I just
I
wanted to say, oh, go ahead, Colette.
no, you go first.
I just wanted to say, 'cause listening at what's going on, and actually the first topic, right attitude and perception, um, within my own family, um, externally, everybody else's life seems to be in the right place. You know, I'll use my brother, for example. He has a nice house, has a nice car, or what have you, but his perception is not,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it's not kingdom, and for me, externally, it would appear that I'm not in the best place or what have you, but internally, I'm right where I need to be,
Yeah.
with the right attitude and with the right perception, and I think also too, when we look at the book of Daniel, Daniel is not in, he's in captivity. He's under a whole nother rule, a whole nother reign. So externally, it's not the best scene, it's not the best picture, but yet his attitude, because it's towards the kingdom, he can still go forward and still move and do the things that he needs to do for the kingdom. I get a lot of people ask me sometimes, why are you always smiling? Why are you always smiling?
Mm-hmm.
Because once I got to a point where I realized that the external was not my reality. My peace didn't come from what was on the outside. My peace came from what was on the inside. And so I continued to smile. As Mother Shepherd said, the glass is always full. you know, it's always half full, not half empty with me. And that just, it's just so liberating. It really is liberating. It really is.
I hear you.
Thank you, Lately. I love that. And I'm going to toss it to Colette in 1 second, but I want to say this for the virtual viewers. I know there may be some folks out there that may have a different perspective and may hear this and think, oh, this is like toxic positivity, or like there's no way you can be overly. And we're not talking about how Daniel felt in this situation. I'm sure
No.
this ain't the funnest thing to be in, right? I am sure his humanity probably had moments where he was like, these people are crazy. Like we are not disregarding his feelings or how he may feel, or how we may feel when we go through, our own
We
challenges
go
and
through
obstacles.
things.
That
Yeah.
that's not the thing. We're talking about how we are approaching these situations to be able to navigate through them. Right.
Absolutely.
That is an important thing. And I just because like some in the back of
Yes.
my head was like, there's somebody out there that is a little bit of a cynic that is probably thinking, well, this is just too much positivity to be good to
Well, I
be.
I tell you what, and believe it or not, I think in this next verse of chapter 6, we'll kind of be covering that
Mhm.
when we get to that. Colette?
I
Hey,
was just gonna,
everybody.
I
hey,
can.
Hey, Kenneth.
I was just gonna say that I have more and more time like this, but I still have work to do. And I really look forward to living in it all the time.
Mhm.
And I catch myself enlightening others and just feeling that, I don't know, it's becoming more natural to me. And truly it is my real natural way. And on the toxic positivity thing, Patrick, I want to ask you about that because I came across that phrase maybe a few months ago and I thought, what the heck is that? And I looked it up and I thought, that just sounds like someone that doesn't like positivity. I don't even see how
Can be
positivity really
toxic.
can be toxic. So I just wanted to throw that out there for
Oxymoron, isn't it?
I don't know. Am I crazy? I just thought that was the silliest dichotomy of words.
Yeah, in my experience, it I think there can be people who look at things positively without looking at the opportunities for growth. So in Kingdom, right, we see things as positive because we are looking at a growth model lesson in that, right? I think people that are focused on the toxicity of positivity, if that is a thing, as they're only seeing the positive and not even looking at the possibility of how can I grow from this, right? They're ignoring that they could possibly grow from it. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
They're not doing work or not. They're not taking a moment to pause and reflect.
Yeah.
And so that is what I'm kind of referring to.
Oh,
but I'm looking at the time.
I think
That
it's
makes
also, I think it's also too an issue of the positive. What we would say it was toxicity or whatever it was, whatever the word was.
Toxic positivity. That's hard to say.
Toxic positivity. Can't say that 5 times fast. Positive toxicity. Yeah, I can't say it fast. But anyway, I think a lot of it too is when people you view it from a point where someone is so positive that they're acting like they're not being affected by the circumstances or the situations, you know, where they're just, oh, I'm good, but really they're not good, you know. So I think that would be the flip side of it, you know.
Then but for me, that would mean that there's not reality in that.
Yes.
That would be, that's not reality in that, because no matter whom you are, my goodness, even Jesus did it. I mean, so
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Who
like, I don't want to do this.
Who is that person?
I know. Not only did he say not only did he say I don't want to do this, he also turned over some tables too. So you know,
didn't he? So you know that in itself lets you know that there's no one walking around that is that positive and never, you know, and that is why I've had moments, even in being in different classes and everything, where I have had times that there were things going on with me that I just shared in the class, because I don't desire for anybody to believe that I can just like go on and on and on and on and not have anything going on. Oh no, that's not real.
Right.
It's not even real. So let's move on. Kenny Perry, it's so good to see you, man.
Yeah.
It's really good to see you, and welcome to today's church. I'm stopping.
I'm sorry I didn't come on last Wednesday. I was on punishment last Wednesday.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad that you worked that out.
Wednesday, I was on punishment. Yes.
Okay, you got to mute your TV, Kenneth. Mute your TV or turn it down, because they'll hear that loop.
Kenneth became a member of our church last month.
I did turn my TV down. My sticky classic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Congratulations, Kenneth, on your membership. Welcome to today's church.
I said my pass. I saw the ticket of my dresser. I saw it.
Okay, good.
Memory class for word.
That's great. Okay, let's move forward. We're gonna do Daniel chapter 6. You know, last week we thought we would do a chapter 5 and verse 22, and it was actually chapter 6 and verse 22. So today we're doing chapter 6 and verse 23. The good part about Daniel is that all of his stuff kind of goes together anyway. So it's really not a thing where you're really out of order with Daniel, because he's so in order. So we have Kingdom of Joy, Daniel chapter 6 and verse 23. Lily, would you go ahead and read that, please?
Sure. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they take Daniel out of the den. When Daniel came out of the den, he was not hurt or harmed, because he believed in his God. Daniel chapter 6, verse 23, Kingdom Study Bible.
Okay, so let's get to this. So here's what's happening. You know how we were talking about the kingdom of righteousness and the people couldn't find anything. So they created something.
A whole law.
They created a whole law. Listen, how much do you know how much power a person has to have people sitting and actually working up a law to get them? You understand me? That's saying a lot about Daniel. Here is a man that is somewhat a captive, and they are still coming up with laws and stuff to try to get him, because they know already that he is not going to be worshiping Nebuchadnezzar. That's just not going to happen. So they come up with a law that says he has to, and he doesn't. And the thing that comes from it is going into the lion's den. Going into the lion's den. Now, here's the thing about that, though. I believe that Nebuchadnezzar knew that he had seen so many things happen with Daniel that I believe he just said, well, then, yeah, we'll put him in the lion's den. And somewhere in his head, he said, but ain't nothing going to happen to him.
Right. That's what I thought was so interesting reading, because King was like, okay, y'all, if this is what y'all want to do, then sure. Like, I'm not really that pressed about Daniel. It's cool. He doing what he's doing. It's fine.
Yes. And so just to appease you guys, but listen, here we are. Be careful of the choices that you make, because you may not like the consequences that come from those choices. And the person that you are trying to get may be watching you get got, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So here we are. Daniel goes into the lion's den. Lion don't even pay him any attention. And he might have been sitting down with Daniel. Like, what's up, Daniel? You know, how's it hanging? You know, just having a conversation and waiting. And Daniel said, well, you know, I'm cool. I got God, you know, God here. We gonna hang here till they look in here and see ain't nothing gonna happen. But
That's
listen,
amazing.
but don't you worry, Lion, because you will get something.
That's amazing. I was saying I'm not there in consciousness yet, because to be in that close proximity to a giant cat that I know has the ability to eat me, I'm still working on it. But that shows when Daniel's faith was. He said, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Yeah, but you see but this is the fun part to me of Kingdom. Seeing that, knowing that that's possible, and knowing that I too will reach that point. Right. As long as I continue to grow, as long as I follow these practices and principles, I'm getting there. I'm going to be able to go in the lion's den and be cool with that. Maybe play some bid whist or some spades or something, you know, and have fun and then come on out. So that's the thing. So here in the kingdom of joy, we have happy, which equals happening. But you see, joy, there's a difference. With joy, you have joy regardless of anything. You have happiness because of something. So here we are. See, the kingdom of joy, these things, happy, glad, joy. You see, happy is things that's happening. Glad is a natural state. And joy is beyond external, because you see, you can always have the joy. I am joy. I have joy. I have joy in everything. In everything, I can have joy, regardless of what is going on, regardless of any situation. The joy is there. Happiness, peace. What is it?
And
Yes. And joy
joy and the Holy Ghost.
in the Holy Ghost. So, regardless of what is going on, I don't have to be, I can have a situation going, but I am joy. Joy is not something that's coming to me. Joy is something that, regardless of the situation, I'm going to be joy. Now, if I go get a scratch off and get about $50, $100, I'm going to be happy because of it.
I'll be ecstatic.
You know what I'm saying? But first, I got to go get it. I can't do it. But at any rate, what I'm saying is that this is not something that just comes to you randomly from time to time. This can be joy is all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. And then glad, as you know, I'm glad to see you. It's a natural state. But here you have that joy. And look, it says the king was exceedingly glad for him and come and commanded them to take Daniel out of the den. The king, not the man that they told that we gonna make a law that this man has got to bow down to you. He's saying, I'm so glad for Daniel. But he's glad for Daniel because the joy that Daniel has, the righteousness that Daniel has, is giving him a new life. He's changing Nebuchadnezzar's life. So why, if somebody is bringing your life into some goodness, would you want to see them hurt? But once he got to know Daniel, he already knew nothing wasn't going to happen to Daniel. But why waste his time trying to tell them? You know that there are people that come to you with things and you want to say, actually, y'all wasting y'all time, but hey, go ahead. Do what you feel like you need to do. But just be ready for what happens after you do it. Because as you know, they've traded places. The men that were trying to get Daniel into this ended up being a meal for the lion.
Crushed their bones.
Crushed them. So anybody think about that. Happy, glad, and joy. Do you understand that?
Yes. I want to, if I may,
yes,
just kind of point out from the first point, kingdom of righteousness and the right attitude, the right thinking and speech, right actions and reactions, and then just the joy aspect of it, because I believe that joy is something that we can tap into, whereas happiness is something we have to go and attain, through certain things.
yes.
It reminded me of this time when I was doing telemarketing. I was a collector. I was working for collections, and I called this lady, and she was like just angry. I said, ma'am, hold on. She's like, what? I said, ma'am, I can see you're having a bad day, but I would appreciate it if you wouldn't make your bad day mine. So I understand it's difficult. And so she was like, oh, I thank you for being nice to me. Da, 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 da. How much you need? you know, just from that moment, instead of allowing her to change my reaction and pull back on the joy, that tap into that joy that I have, it changes the atmosphere. It changes the setting, it changes the whole surroundings. And I think that's powerful because, like with Daniel, like Mother Shepherd just said, Daniel literally changed the king's perspective, changed his mindset because of where he was, And I think we as kingdom, once we realize as kingdom citizens that we have that, that we can change atmosphere. We can
Absolutely.
change atmospheres, you know?
Colette?
I, for some reason, don't feel real certain on what glad is compared to happy and joy. I don't
Okay.
know why. I feel like I understand the word glad, but I'm like, what's really the difference?
Well, glad is something that comes just from being. Glad is not a thing that you work up to. It is just one of those feelings that comes to you out of things that happen in your life. Something that just can make you glad. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad about this. It's one of those words. It's a spinoff of happy.
Yeah.
You understand, but it's not a thing that makes you overly happy. It's like, okay, it's just not a bad feeling. It's just the opposite of a bad feeling, a glad feeling.
Is it kind of in between the two?
In
I'm
between
happy
Is
and joy.
it kind of in
happiness and
between
joy,
happy
yeah.
and joy?
Just like it is here in between happy and joy. It's
Definition wise, it says pleased and delighted,
yeah,
um,
okay.
which,
Uh-huh.
which is, a level beyond happy. Um,
Yeah. Just a level beyond happy, but not as, as good as you can feel, but it's not a bad feeling.
Thank
Does
you.
that help you at all?
Thanks.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to again chapter 6.
ooh, this is good. Kingdom of Light.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is there. The
Y'all see
king
this progression?
the king, yeah, because you got it. We start out with the kingdom of righteousness, then we have the kingdom of joy, and now we have the kingdom of life. The kingdom of life. There's only one life. That life is God's life.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that song? I know that Colette does because that's one of her favorite artists. So I know she knows the song. My life is not my own. To you I belong. I give myself. I give myself to you. Najida, why don't you read for us Daniel 6:26?
I made a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, the people fear the God of Daniel. For Jehovah is the living God and steadfast forever. That kingdom will not be destroyed, and that dominion will be forever. Daniel 6:26, Kingdom Study Bible.
Yes. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay,
I
so
see you.
I was reading this. I said, I appreciate this timing of everything because we just had this whole sermon on decreeing on Sunday. And I was like, this is such a great example of that because even in this scripture, we see that there are words, right, of what is the capital T truth, right? That Jehovah is the living God. It just should be a capital T, the living, big old T, the
Yeah.
living God, right? And steadfast forever. God, it's only God. It's all God. It ain't going nowhere, where. All right. Since the beginning and all the way to the end, the never ending end, right? Is God, and that is a decree right there, which will cancel all these naysayers and
All that
haters
stuff.
and allow Daniel to manifest and prophesy all of these things. It's good.
It's too bad that the lion's meal, the people didn't know that, didn't hear that before. It's and what makes this so profound to me is the fact that it is the king whom everybody is trying to make people worship and adore and praise. And he's saying, no, y'all, it's Jehovah. It's Daniel's God. What else has to be seen of Daniel before you understand what's happening here? What have you seen? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You see all this, and you are still trying to work on something. And no, I'm making a decree. So, in other words, stop trying to come up with stuff to get rid of Daniel. because there's nothing.
And he's already had the king, as a result of seeing Daniel go through this experience, has already started to shift his perception.
That's correct. Yes. My life is not my own. My life is not my own. It belongs to God. My life belongs to God. I am breathing because God is giving me breath. Without the breath, what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna get mad at God. Why? God is the reason I'm even being able to talk to you. There's nothing I can do that does not involve God. And regardless of what you may or may not believe, the naysayers or anything else, you breathing because of God. And the sooner you realize that, the better you'll be. God sustains life. It's breath. It's breath. So yeah, let's keep moving because
Oh no, we good. We got 2 more chapters. I think we can do it.
we can do it. I believe we can do it. I believe we can do it. Gina, I saw you were at work. Are you able to read, baby?
I think she's just listening.
She can't. I knew she was at work. I wanted to make sure. Wanda, are you able to read?
Yes.
Okay, chapter 7, verse 22.
Okay. I was listening to y'all because little tired. Chapter 7, right?
Yes.
Waiting with praise, waiting with purpose, waiting with productivity until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Daniel 7:22, Kingdom Study Bible.
Patience is a virtue, Shepherd. Patience is a virtue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And operating in kingdom is actually the actual meaning of patience. It's the actual meaning of patience. Everything doesn't have to happen immediately. And we know that because we wait on things all the time. There are things going right now. We have a vision, we have a plan. We're waiting to feed the 5,000. Now we want to hurry up and do this, but we got to wait. And we need the patience to do it. We have a vision of 24-hour, 365 days a year kingdom television. But we're patiently waiting. We are patiently waiting on that. We are waiting on the Kingdom Study Bible. It takes patience because there are things that have to happen. So we're waiting with praise, we're waiting with purpose, and we're waiting with productivity. And those 3 things are the things that let us know that it's okay. We are excited. Lord knows I'm excited. I went and got my shots yesterday. So it's like, I'm that close. I'm that close. But I still got to wait. It's nothing I can do till then. But I'm waiting with praise. I'm thanking God that I'm even able to go. My purpose will be to be over there feeding 5,000 people. and the joy that we are bringing, the gladness that we are bringing to those people. And just look at the benefit of us with Kingdom Television. The Kingdom Study Bible. And we know that they're coming, but we're waiting. And what do we do about it? We talk about it all the time. And we talk about it in that joy, in that peace, in that righteousness. But we live in a kingdom of patience. Now, you know, as well as I, that we are still growing in patience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no time that we are not growing in patience. But I am so far along in patience that I used to be. You know, I actually find myself even in the store, and the lady and somebody in front of me will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Ricky." I say, "Darling, I do not come here in a hurry." I already know if I'm coming to the grocery store, anything could happen. Anything could happen. So why would I be like that? See, and I can tell you, let me tell you this right quick. This is so crazy. There used to be this store called Zayre's. And it's kind of like Walmart, Kmart, and all those stores. And so there was this store called Zayre's. And the commercial on television was always if 3 people get in the line, they open another register. And every time I would be in the line, I'd get up to the thing and say, "Do you know where the Zayre's is that's on the commercial?" Because I have yet to go in any Zayre and see them open another line when it was 3 people in the line. I say, right now it's 15 in this one. It's 15 people in this line. So it used to be one of those things. I would do it. I would say, where is the Zayre's that is on TV? And so, you know, and it was just that thing, and everything. It would always be something that would just get me. But you know what? It wasn't getting me anywhere. I still had to wait. But so I had to decide, why am I going to put myself through all this anxiety of being in the store? I go to the store prepared to wait. I don't go in the store believing I'm going to jump in and run out. That's not even realistic to me. So that patience, and I'm telling you, I know that I have come a very long way in patience. And of course, you know, people tell me the older you get, the less you want to wait. But I don't see it as that anymore. I don't see it.
I really resonate with that, Shepherd. I was sitting here thinking, and I didn't think I was going to tell the story, but
that's how we
so
are.
When I first moved to St. Petersburg, I was in a relationship, but then unfortunately I wasn't, and I found myself after that living in my car. I was still going to work and doing all the things, but I was living in my car, and then I was hopping from hotel to hotel. And you know, here I am 6, 7 years later in my own apartment, like free and clear, everything. And that was a journey, a 6, 7 year, wow, 7 years, a 7-year journey to get where I am now. And I'm about to start another journey of patience. I'm accepting this grief journey that I'm in, but there is power in leaning into the patience. And what I love is this third point, the waiting with productivity. It's not just waiting, it's sitting there. It's still doing the work, right? Going back to this kingdom being growth model. It's doing work while I'm waiting because I know the best is yet to come, or the next best is yet to come, right? I'm waiting with this purpose. And there was some times where I went from the hotel to renting a room, and I was like, this is not, I don't want to do this. Renting a room, all these strangers, all this stuff, right? But I knew, right? I knew that one day I'm going to get to the place that I desire to be, to have my own apartment. And when I tell you this apartment that I'm in right now fell into my lap, and I wept at my desk at work, because this is what I have been praying for and saving money and doing things that I need to do to be ready when the opportunity came. So I'm telling you, like, this patience is, I agree, Shepherd, is what the kingdom is about. It is
Yes.
waiting with the expectation that as I wait, I am growing and growing and growing
Yeah.
into what is my next blessing.
Wanda Brown,
Yeah.
did you hear that story?
Yes, because
Got
I
it.
just experienced that. I was wanting to get, but you know, when you keep declaring a thing and then you denying stuff and then you declaring things. I always kept saying, I want to get out this house. I kept on saying, I don't want this house. Even though I loved some part of me was like, kept saying it. And the universe gave me exactly what I kept saying because I kept putting so much energy into it. And then I wind up saying, okay, one day, I think my mom made a transition 4 years ago. But in last year, I got so somehow my heart was going through it. And I started feeling closed in. And I was like, you know, it's time for me to make a change in my life. And I left my house and everything in it and I walked away. I didn't care what they do with it. I just left it. And I moved in with my sister for 6 months. I was going to stay till next month. But spiritually, I wasn't free living with her. Even though I was in kingdom, I was crying every day. She didn't know I was going through all that stuff in that half a room. You know, I was like, okay, God. Then once I got myself together, and Mother Shepherd kept on saying, Wanda, are you going to listen? Are you going to be quiet and listen? I'm like, yeah, but she went through that whole process with me. I kept saying, okay, till I've been still and heard Spirit say, be still and know I'm God. Stop looking at what it appeared to be. And I prayed for a private landlord that I want a house inside of an apartment. And I made a vision board. And it said, write the vision and make it plain. And on this picture is someone standing and looking out the window. I'm on the third floor looking out the window. And I just knew it was God. It was time for me. I enjoyed this apartment. I enjoyed the peace. And I moved before the time because I was going to move next month, but I wound up moving in September. And kingdom, just like I wanted to come to Florida and meet everybody, my patience. And I went before the time I was thinking about going. And I had the best time of my life and got all that stuff done in a 1.5 day, 2 days. I enjoyed. So productivity, patience, kindness, renewing my mind. I enjoy my life now at 61 than when I was like in my, as time go on, I feel wonderful. And I'm enjoying one day at a time and trusting the process of life.
And here's what we find out with the kingdom of patience is that when whatever it is shows up, it's the right time, regardless of what we thought it should be, of when we thought it should happen. When it happens, oh my goodness, it's the best time. It's no better time than that time. Kenny, I see you have your hand up, sweetheart.
I think it's almost time to do it soon.
All
Yep,
right,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Mhm.
So in thinking of that, let's move on to chapter 8, a prophetic kingdom. Let's see. Gina's still at work. Patrick, you close us out.
Mhm. And I will do something different. I will give this announcement now. Speaking of a prophetic kingdom, we have an event coming up on Sunday, December 17th and Monday, December 18th, each at 7 o'clock. This is a free virtual conference, free, F-R-E-E, F-R-E-E, free. And this is the prophetic state of COTEC conference. So this is essentially, right, it's just a state of the union conference.
This is perfect.
To really talk about what we're doing next year in 2024 and moving forward.
I'm registered already, Patrick. Soon as it went up, I just clicked register today. Boop.
So please register. You can visit cotechincrease.org for more information. But beyond that, let's get back to the text. Daniel chapter 8, verse 23. The vision of the evenings and mornings that has been given to you is true, but seal up the vision, for it concerns the distant future.
Know that it's coming, but just wait. Go back to the kingdom of patience. You've already gotten the word of knowledge in the past. You know the word that you're getting right here and right now. And just be patient. And just seal that vision in your head.
Be respectful.
That's right. Be respectful of what's happening, because it concerns the distant future. And it's okay, because we're in a kingdom of patience. And the thing about it is, and since we've already experienced having to be patient for so many things, and seeing how that patience has brought us to so much good, what's the issue of still waiting? All things are unfolding for my highest good. I'm standing on strength. I'm stepping out on faith. And I'm walking in God's will. What's left? What's left?
That's it.
Go ahead, Patrick.
That's it. I want to leave that button there, Shepherd.
Yes.
And I invite everyone to really think about where you desire to grow in your patience journey, and how you are perceiving your journey with patience. Because remember, it starts with how you are perceiving things, that attitude and perception. And once you start to shift that, you will get to the being open and available for the various things of patience. But really think about that this week. I encourage you to think about that as we move to our giving portion of this evening. Thank you so much in advance for your liberality in giving. We are a donation-based ministry, and we cannot do it without your contributions to our prosperity. So we invite you to give through various means of giving. We have Giveify, Cash App, Zelle, or Venmo. You can go to todayschurchtampabay.com/give for those giving options, or you can send a check to our headquarters in St. Petersburg, 2114 54th Avenue North, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33714. As Shepherd mentioned, our national organization, the Church of the Everlasting Kingdom, is in a final collection call for donations for our outreach ministry in Lagos, Nigeria, coming up in January. Our goal is to feed 5,000 people. So one person can be fed with $3. So with a donation of 100, you can feed 300 people. Or with a donation of, yes. With a donation of 100, you could feed 300 people. Yes, math is not my ministry. So please, I invite you to put your digital giving option in your left hand and cover it with your right, as I affirm our prosperity affirmation aloud. Prosperity is a fountain that flows from our health to harmonious relationships to wealth. That prosperity is always flowing, unless we block it. We remove all barriers, blocks, and boulders and allow that flow of our individual, corporate, and collective prosperity. It is in the name of
Bible study on his screen.
One second, Kenneth, I'm praying. It is in the name and through the power and the consciousness of Christ Jesus that it is so it is. We thank you all for tuning in to our Kingdom Bible study. We hope that you will join us next week, where we will pick up with the book of Daniel. We got a few more chapters left, but like Mother Shepherd said, there is stuff chock full in this book. And please read ahead. We would love for you. We would love for you to dive into the conversation. So, will we be doing 8, 9, 10?
We'll see how far we go. I gotta read first and see what
if you
we'll
read
be.
8, yeah, if
we'll
you read
be
8, 9, 10, you'll be caught up.
You'll be good. Yeah, you'll be good. You
So
can
we're
read
going.
really all the rest of them. It's 8 to 12, regardless of whether we talk about them. That's 12 chapters, man.
Daniel's a good read. It's all a good read, but Daniel's a really great story. So we will move for our benediction. Remind those who are executive staff members or our business lane members, we have our meeting at 8:30. So at today's church, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have a universal call to love God, love ourselves, and then love everyone. In that order. This love doesn't start with us, it starts with the one God. So please repeat after me, or you can say this silently at home. God is love. I love God.
Love God.
I'm learning to love myself.
I'm learning to love myself.
I am sharing this love.
I'm sharing this love with everyone.
It is in the name, through the power, and in the consciousness
of Christ.
And we say it is so it is, and so we let it be. Amen and amen. That's it, y'all. Have a good evening. We'll see you next Wednesday. Invite a friend. We'll see you on the screen next Wednesday.